good news, 300 yards
Mm-hmm.
on the day. If you want to speak a little bit onto kind of what happened out there on the last play.
Yeah, last series, I felt like we put ourselves in the right positions, to go down there and score. We had a play drawn up and that we thought we could get an in cut, from our outside receivers. And just seeing them playing inside leverage, kind of taking that away. And, with the pressure on top of me, I just had to let it go. Definitely one of the throws I definitely want to take back. But, it starts from the beginning. We did 2 and out the first 2 series. Didn't help us out at all. And I felt like if we, got first downs and moved the ball more better in the first half, then we would not be in that situation.
Jordan, you threw 300 yards today, which is the season high for you.
Yeah.
Lost Ty Scott this week. Can you kind of talk about the depth of the receiver core here in DC? I mean, you spread the ball around to like 6 or 7 different guys today, and just the talent that you have there. Even
Yeah. Yeah, before the game, I was, I said, it sucks losing Ty, but we have a lot of playmakers in that room. And, the next guy stood up and, next man up. And, these guys showed it today. I work with them every day after practice, getting our throws and getting our rhythm right and, just communicating. And I felt like everybody in that room can be our number one receiver. So as long as they can get open, I dish them the ball and just got to make playmakers make plays.
You led in rushing today.
Yeah.
What was it about today where you decided to just go ahead and use your legs? Was it just what the defense was giving you, or you decided to just slip?
Yeah, I felt like they, they didn't see a lot of me running this year, so I felt like, with their ends and how they squeeze and, how they drop everyone back and just forget about the quarterback, I felt like I could, use my legs more this game and worked in our favor most of the time in our drives, but that was my emphasis going into this week. When in doubt, use my legs.
There was a drive, I believe it was the third quarter, early fourth quarter.
Mm-hmm.
It seemed like you and the receivers weren't on the same page.
Yeah.
Some miscommunication that you talking about.
Yeah, it was just a simple in cut that we like running, especially second and long, third and long, and we worked it at practice and stuff, and our connection right there obviously didn't connect, but that's something we just have to go back in the drawing boards and kind of see what depth he took and see my drop and all that kind of plays into that time.
Jordan, what do you think you need to do differently in the red zone for the coming weeks to help finish guys?
Yeah, we definitely got to score. I just got to definitely go through my progressions and definitely use my legs and try to scramble more to kind of create that opportunity for us to get open and score. But I like the play calls down there. Just got to finish.
How do you think this team has helped you get better as a football player?
San Antonio or ours?
Being a part of this DC.
Oh, yeah, being a part of DC is definitely making me better just as a whole. Kind of talking to Shannon, my quarterback coach, and just kind of being my third year in the system, I feel comfortable to change the play if I have to. And, it's definitely making me a lot better reading the defense. And that's one thing I wanted to work on this offseason. And just knowing the playbook a lot more better helps that. Appreciate you. Oh.
You got any questions for them? Go ahead.
How you doing, Jordan? This is Bobby. I'm calling from AFN. We was out one of the top cornerbacks in Baker, but Bryce Thompson seems to flash all game long. Can you talk about him and the impact he has in that secondary? And as he had close to 9 tackles and 2 TFLs today.
Yeah, no, he's definitely a leader, and he wanted this win badly against his team. Bryce is always in our huddle and stuff, and just trying to hype us up, and that's the leaders we need just to kind of rally behind that. So just seeing him all amped up and getting us ready to go, fires everyone up, and he's a good guy, great leader, and yeah.
And my last question, Jordan. This time last year, you guys got some slow start, but you guys are still 3-1. Is there still a lining at the end of the day? You go as lost today that you guys can build on to the next game?
Yeah, our mindset right now is just to kind of go back to work. I mean, that's just our mindset right now. Go back to work, fix the mistakes, watch film tomorrow, and, get better. We got a big game next week, so definitely want to, fix our corrections. And, I felt like we had a lot of penalties. We just got to, minus that, and we'll be okay. So just get back to work.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
I'll start out by saying, God is amazing. And we had a great opportunity for us to go out today and compete on Easter Sunday, and our guys to go out and showcase their efforts, and we talked about it like, how we glorify God today on this Easter Sunday by our effort. And so I thought our guys did a good job of playing hard. Hats off to Peyton and his staff from San Antonio. They did a good job of coming in here and competing, was prepared to come in here and play a really tough football game. So hats off to those guys, and we're going to continue to set prayers out for Coach Phillips and not only just him but Coach Ken Windsor Hunt as well. So want to continue to give those guys our prayers. But from the game itself, the biggest thing is you can't overcome games like that with so many penalties. We got to clean that up, and we talk about it all the times as a staff and as a team. The things you can't, accept things in a loss. The things that you wouldn't accept in a loss, that you can't accept them in a win. And so there's things that we have to continue to clean up throughout the course of the season, to be back in that win column, because that many penalties, it's tough to beat anyone from that standpoint. So, like I said, the biggest thing is we clean that up. And, our efforts was where they need to be. I thought from a naked eye, guys played hard. They played hard. So I appreciate the guys from that standpoint. But we just got to clean up those small details, and we'll continue to get back on the winning track.
Coach, you had some notable guys on defense out, some playmakers from last week. Yeah. Can you speak to kind of, who you had stepping into their places? What was the game plan replacing those guys that were in?
Yeah, I tell you, on the defense side of the ball, especially in the secondary, it's been, guys out every week, let me say that. And so guys having to fill in. And these are guys that fill in we feel great about, especially throughout the course of the week of practice. I mean, these guys have prepped. These are guys that we like, that we've seen before. And so, we had some notable guys out, but, there's no excuse for any other thing that we when we go out there and compete. But we feel comfortable with anytime we put those guys on the field with the group that we have out there. We feel very comfortable with those guys.
Coach, obviously this is your first loss of the season, but do you feel like there's any positives to take away from obviously almost doubled up in yards, then turn the ball over? What positives can you take from this game moving forward?
Yeah, a lot of positives to take from it, for sure. Like you said, from an offensive standpoint, we did a great job in the yards category, and we moved the ball exceptionally well. Jordan was efficient in throwing the ball, and also ran the ball well, at the same time. So a lot of positives to take away from it. Even still on the defense side of the ball, we did some really good stuff, even with the guys that we have out. It's just that, special team, we can't give up a punt return right there. We can't do that on special team. That, on every level, your percentages to win goes up exceptionally high when you get special team touchdowns and things like that. So, again, a lot of positive to take from it. The biggest thing, like I said earlier, our effort level was still there. So, we'll live with that. And so we'll just go back to the drawing board and make sure that we clean up those penalties and those small details that we talked about earlier, so we can go from there.
Out of all the penalties, did any of them stand out to you where you're like, immediately tomorrow we're talking about this or we're handling this out of those penalties?
Yeah. The one thing, for sure, special teams, you can't have those type of penalties, and especially when it's going to put your offense in the hole the way it did with it one time, and then even when it puts our defense in a tough situation when they got them into the red zone. I think they had a tripping call or whatever the case may have been. So, anytime you get those type penalties on special team, it hurts you defensively and offensively, because it puts us in the hole offensively, and then it gives them a good yardage to work with from an offensive standpoint, And the other part of it is, when kicking the ball off, we can't do that. You know what I mean? As far as giving them good field position from that standpoint. Matt is clutch for us, so I don't think that'll happen again for him the rest of the season. So he's gotten that out the way, so we're good there.
Coach, kind of speak a bit on the ground game. Obviously Jordan Tom, who uses legs pretty often, wasn't efficient, but Avery Smith, Deion Jackson both averaging a little over 3 yards a carry. Offensive line looked like they were a little bit banged up, so I'll go back to down today. What was kind of your assessment of what happened?
Yeah, I mean, again, San Antonio did a good job of what they were doing up front. They did a good job of blitzing the backers at times and, clogging the hole up for those guys, which we knew from that standpoint that Jordan will, at some point in time, have some good run lanes in there. So anytime you get those guys, mugging up in there, those backers, now they give you a clear run lane in the passing game, and they're playing man coverage. So that's why he was able to, step up in there and get some hidden yards for us on some of those scrambles, and then even on some of those pull and run zone reach type stuff. But I think they did a good job of like mucking it up on the inside right there. Those guys on defense, San Antonio did, and made it tough for Abram and Deion a little bit. But like I said, we got some hidden yards from Jordan today, which help our rush a little bit more.
And then to follow up on that, you yourself and then of course Peyton Hardy stepping in as interim head coaches. We see Blake Williams stepping in as D-line as defensive coordinator for you guys. Some younger up-and-coming names here in this league. What's kind of your evaluation of some of these younger guys getting an opportunity and really proving themselves at the pro level as coaches?
Yeah, I'll tell you, man, there's so many really good coaches that's out there that's, don't have an opportunity sometimes to show what they're worth. And so to have this opportunity myself and for Peyton and, even over in Memphis or what have you, to have an opportunity to continue to work with the staff and get these guys to still be on the same page and understand what we're trying to get done. That's always an awesome opportunity when you get that moment and just showcase your talents as a coach. And, hopefully we can continue to do that, And, I love his coaching style. He's a very energetic guy, no different than myself. So, I was teasing him earlier, like, man, my son named Peyton, so I got to like you a little bit.
I did want to ask you about your decision to go with the Super Challenge. Could you tell us what came into that and how you?
Yeah, so we thought that their right tackle flinched in that situation, and which we thought was enough because it made our D-line flinch, but at the same time, we knew that within there was going to have to look at the down and distance and the yardage. Did he gain the yardage with it as well? So there was two things in that situation there: the flinch, and then did they gain the yards that they were supposed to get? And so the guys did a good job of letting me know that let's go ahead and challenge that. And so that was what all went into it, and it was successful one way or another for us, and gave us a chance. Yep.
What kind of growth have you seen in Tom since you first started coaching, and what does he need to improve on moving forward?
Yeah, I'll tell you, having Jordan our third year into the third season into the offense, one thing he's done a great job this season from the past 2 years, he's done a great job of putting us in a good situation where he sees things now like what we would go over in film study. He's done a good job of, if it doesn't look right, he knows the go-to plays right away based off of what we work with. So that's just having, a good feel for what we do offensively in the scheme that what we got going in for that week.
Do we have any Zoom questions? Okay. Go ahead.
Hey, Coach, this is from AFN. DC is known for having, a plethora of wide receivers to come out of the organization, Lucky Jackson, and wide receivers like that. Talk about the wide receivers right now on the team, how they have impacted, the season so far. So it's really Sanders, we had a breakout party today, and of course, Roland. Talk about those guys and what you see from them today.
Yeah, you talked about Lucky and Chris Blair and Brendan Smith. Maybe I'm missing a few other guys that we've had, over the course of the last 2-3 years. Those guys have been exceptionally well for us. And Vaughn, our GM, had done a really good job of going out and identifying those guys that fit what we do from a scheme standpoint. And, even with Coach Kais and all the rest of the coaches, always on the same page with what Vaughn want or going to get for us. And so he does a good job for us on that standpoint. But Braylon, we knew once he got healthy, we knew what he would add to our offense. In the first 2 weeks he was out, and then once he got healthy, we knew the type of caliber player that he would be for us from an offensive standpoint. And Chris was the same way for us last year, and it just carried over to this season. He's explosive. He does a great job with the ball in his hand, and not just him, but Mickens. Powell does a great job of creating great first down for us as well. So all those guys, man, that we always bring in does a really good job that fit our schemes the best.
And my last question, it seems like you created an identity within the team. Talk about your relationship with the players so far, and what is something that you learned from these guys, and and vice versa. What is something that they learned from you? Because it seems like it's something is building within this organization that allow you guys to be one of the top teams in the UFL. So I want you to speak on that, and how has that affected you personally?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is the trust factor between each other, and the relationship that's been built between all of us. We come in, we fellowship together, we do a lot of things in the office, not just guys on the offense only just work with the offensive guys on certain things. So we all do a great job of mingling together, even from the coaching staff. We go out and have dinner or whatever the case may be, as a mixed group of guys, not just an offensive side or defensive side. Now we do it together, and the same way, from a team perspective. Those guys do a good job of going out and do things together, and we always talked since day one, if whatever we do, let's do it together, How we do anything is how we do everything. And so if we're going to continue to say this is who we are as a team, now we got to show that as well. So it's a trust factor right there, and, the other part of it is these guys know that we care about them, and they know we have their best interests, so they see it and they feel it, and so that's how we've built this, what we are right now today.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
All right. Hold on, we got one more question.
Me or Jason?
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't see Jason. So you go. You're speaking. You go first.
Okay, thank you. You mentioned defense. I'm happy with the coach.
Likewise.
How's Abram Smith? Did he just get the wind knocked out of him, or he looked like he was maybe holding his arm? Is there concern there? How's he doing?
Yeah, he's fine. He just got the wind knocked out of him, so yeah, he's fine. He was able to come back in later on, and still have some big plays for us still towards the end. So yeah, he's fine.
Jason.
Hey, Coach, tough loss, your first loss of the season, your first loss as a head coach. Your next 3 weeks, though, are some pretty big games. You got Arlington next week for control of the XFL conference. Then you go up to Michigan, and then you go back to San Antonio and play the Brahmas. What is going to be your game plan with these guys going into these next 3 weeks on the road?
Yeah, we've set goals out, early in the season, the things that what we need to do to help us get to where we want to go at the end of the year. So we know what we signed up for, and we know that these next 3 games that, we play, especially starting with Arlington, going to be a physical match. And so we're a physical team ourselves, and, we feel good about our matchup. And, we feel really good with what we're starting to become offensively as well. And I think that's what will help separate some of the things. You just clean up some of those small things that what we had today from a penalty standpoint, and we feel good about anybody that we go up against. And it is great to see that our offense, took a step forward today. From a yardage standpoint, you see we're starting to have some explosive plays down the field. So it's good to see that our guys are starting to catch up right there on the offensive side of the ball. Coach Kite's doing a good job with, making sure we have a great game plan and that the quarterback in Jordan understands the game plan exceptionally well, and the rest of the players as well. So defensively, we're going to be solid. We're going to get some guys back next week, and that we feel great about as well. And we'll clean up some things in our special team unit, because we know when it's going to get games like next week that we get ready to go up against, special teams is going to play a huge part in it as well. So we cleaned up the few things that we had, not so good today in special teams, and we feel really good about our matchup going against Arlington next week.
All right.
Thanks, Coach.
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's all we have. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Coach.
All right, thank you.
Safe travels. See y'all next month.
Likewise, thank you so much. Yes, sir.